You know, a lot of people think we are just gay all day. That's what we are. The reality is we're job creators, we're businessmen and women. There are an estimated 1.4 million businesses owned by LGBT Americans. And we commissioned a study last year that found that our economic impact on the U.S. economy is over $1.7 trillion to the U.S. economy. That would make the LGBT business community the 10th largest economy in the world. So I'm really pleased to be able to share that with folks today.
Speak to this, because I know it's an issue that you care about, Anthony Kennedy's retirement and what you think it ultimately means to the LGBT community. Well,
I think it's a loss, certainly. The reality is we have had battles before. We'll continue to have battles. One of the things we've done, I think, a great job of doing is creating relationships across diverse segments. You know, a lot of people also think LGBT people are white people only. We are African American, Hispanic, Pan-Asian, people with disabilities, veterans, all sorts of diverse intersections. And what we've been doing at NGLCC is making sure that we're creating those relationships. We started this organization almost 15 years ago in the shadow of 9/11, and George W. Bush was in the White House. And as you all remember, probably as well as I do, marriage equality or marriage amendments were the big wedge issue in the 2004 campaign. So we've been here before. We're not going to shy away. It means we've got to redouble our efforts. And we have a lot of great allies in the private sector that are going to help us continue to push our issues forward.
I'm curious, there's been a lot of debate around North Carolina and certain states where businesses are going based on some of the politics in those states. You know, Amazon and others have looked at that state, for example. Apple has looked at that state. Is your preference for companies to boycott states that you don't think treat the LGBT community fairly? Or is there an advantage to having a big company like an Amazon or an Apple get into one of those states and then try to change things from inside?
Well, I think there are a lot of great communities that could host headquarters of Amazon or Apple. I don't think it has to be North Carolina in particular. I'm not a big fan of the word boycott. I think we can look at other places that are probably more palatable. And I don't mean that just because of those particular archaic laws that they have, but just looking at output of employees. You know, do you want to open up a business in a community where they can be openly discriminated against? The average LGBT employee spends between 10 and 25% of their work week worrying about discrimination or being fired from their job. And certainly as a social justice activist, I find that abhorrent. But as a businessman, I find it even worse because it means 10 to 25% of that employee's productivity is out the window. So I think there are better decisions that can be made not only on the overall health of their employees, but the overall health of their business.
Hey, Justin, Tim Cook was recently interviewed and made the comment that he was very proud to have come out as publicly as he did, and yet he clearly lost his privacy in that decision. I'm curious how you think about prominent executives and about the idea of coming out publicly.
I think it's incredibly important, not only for the overall movement of inclusion and equality, but even, again, back to camaraderie of colleagues. We want to see ourselves in management, and I don't think that's specific to just LGBT. If you are a woman executive, if you are a person with a disability, if you are ethnic minority, you want to see that there's upward mobility, that you have folks within your organization that go all the way to the top, that you can make it and that they can make it. And it's an incredibly important message. And certainly when we have issues, whether they're legislative, whether it's pending Supreme Court litigation, and I'm proud to say that we've been a part of several efforts to get the business community to weigh in on amicus briefs and so forth. And so having those executives visible out and a part of the work we're doing is very important.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.